Okay, you have definitely seen this everywhere. On your social media feeds, in health blogs, apple cider vinegar, or ACV, is being called a total wellness superstar. But is it really a miracle worker, or is it all just myth? Well, today we're going to cut through all that hype and find out what's real. So let's ask the big question right up front. Is apple cider vinegar actually the miracle cure that you've been hearing about? We're going to dig into the science and see what it has to say. Let's get into it. All right, so first things first, what even is this stuff? At its core, apple cider vinegar is mostly acetic acid. That's the compound that gives it that really strong, sour taste. And if you've ever bought the organic kind, you see that cloudy, stringy stuff floating around? That's called the mother. It's just a mix of proteins, enzymes, and good bacteria. And a lot of people think that's where the real health benefits are hiding. So how did a simple bottle of sour liquid get so popular? I mean, how did it become this massive wellness trend? Let's hop on the ACV hype train and see where it came from. This is not some new fad. The use of vinegar for health goes way, way back. We're talking more than 2,000 years ago. Even Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, supposedly used vinegar to clean wounds. So from an ancient disinfectant to a trendy wellness shot you see on Instagram, ACV has had quite a journey. All right, let's tackle the number one claim, the big one, weight loss. This is probably the main reason most people even start chugging this stuff. The claim sounds so simple, right? A spoonful of ACV a day and the fat just melts away. It's a really compelling idea, for sure. But when we actually look at the scientific evidence, well, the story gets a little more complicated. So the evidence here is, honestly, it's a real mixed bag. On one hand, you have a very recent 2024 study that really turned some heads. It showed participants losing a pretty significant 6 to 8 kilograms in just 12 weeks. Sounds amazing, right? But then on the other hand, when you look at reviews of longer-term studies, they found basically no link between ACV and suppressing appetite. So the big takeaway here is that while we're seeing some exciting short-term results, scientists pretty much all agree we need bigger, better studies to know if these effects are legit and can last. And that short-term effect is a really key point. In some of these studies, people who took ACV with their meal said they felt fuller and less hungry. But that feeling only lasted for about 2 hours. So yeah, it might give you a temporary boost, but the idea that it's working all day long to crush your appetite, the evidence just doesn't back that up right now. Okay, now let's move on to a claim that actually has some of the most compelling evidence behind it, using ACV to help manage blood sugar. The idea here is that ACV can improve what's called glycemic control. Now, this is super important for anyone with type 2 diabetes, but it's also important for our general health. A lot of researchers now believe that high blood sugar is one of the main drivers of aging and many chronic diseases. And the evidence here is actually pretty promising. Several reviews of clinical trials have found that, yes, ACV consumption might actually benefit blood sugar levels in adults. But, and listen, this is a really big but, health authorities like the National Center for Complementary and Integrative Health have a very strong warning about this. They say you should never replace your prescribed medical treatment with an unproven product. So what's the bottom line? Talk to your doctor before you even think about trying it, especially if you're already on medication. Okay, time for a little rapid-fire round. Because beyond just weight loss and blood sugar, ACV gets linked to a whole bunch of other benefits. So let's quickly run through them. Okay, first up, heart health. Some studies suggest it could help with cholesterol levels, but most of this research was done on animals. The studies on humans are pretty limited. Then there's skin health. Some people swear by diluted ACV to rebalance their skin's pH, but you have to be careful because it can also cause some serious irritation, even burns. And finally, its ability to kill bacteria. This one is well established. It's actually a great natural food preservative because it's known to stop bacteria like E. coli from growing. So, after hearing all of that, if you're still curious about trying it, it is absolutely crucial that you know how to do it safely. So let's get practical. If you're going to give it a shot, please start small, like just 1 or 2 teaspoons a day. And here's the most important rule of all, always, always dilute it. Drinking it straight can do some real damage. So mix it into a big glass of water. Or even better, just use it in your food, like in a salad dressing or something. That's the safest bet. And don't go crazy. Stick to a maximum of 1 to 2 tablespoons a day. Because it's definitely not risk-free. It's highly acidic, so over time it can literally erode the enamel on your teeth. It can also give you indigestion or a nasty burn in your throat. And on a more serious note, it can lower your potassium levels and mess with certain medications, including diuretics and some diabetes drugs. And that's yet another reason why you really need to check with a doctor first.
Okay, we've gone through the history, the big claims, the science, and the risks. So let's pull it all together and figure out what the final verdict is.
The bottom line is really this. Apple cider vinegar is promising, but it is far from proven. While some studies show there could be benefits, especially for blood sugar, there is very little hard evidence to back up those really dramatic claims that it's some kind of miracle cure. So, where does that leave us? Well, apple cider vinegar is a fantastic ingredient to have in your kitchen. It's great in dressings and marinades, but is it a health hero? Based on all the science we have right now, it seems like it's more of a helpful supporting character than the star of the show. And that is definitely something to remember the next time you see it trending online. We'll see you next time.